So I'm back down at Steamerama. Gonna do some work on the 604 to get it ready for the show coming up in May. It'll be the 2nd through the 4th. Today we're gonna work on pulling this side panel so we can get the radiator out. And then there's some air cylinders I want to pull. So I'm just torching bolt heads off right now. I probably won't film too much because it's a little windy here today. But I'll bring it back as I make a little progress with it. Got the sheet metal off the radiator, ready to start taking that out. Looks like it's going to be pretty heavy. Got everything unhooked. Just torched the bolts off for the lower water neck. Upper water neck I was able to unbolt. And we're going to get the forklift and pluck this whole thing out of here. Got the base bolts out. Going to pull this belt also and work on getting correct belt for that. And then I also torched off this belt guard so I can fix the bottom of that as well. They're free?
If you stand and go back just a little bit. Yeah, it's free. It's free.
All right.
Pick it up. Up. Yeah, it's in. It's in.
You want to come forward, we'll lean it against here, and then we'll put the forks back on.
Okay.
Come forward again, we're going to lean it against the catwalk, and then we'll put the forks back on and lay it down. Don't realize how big this thing is. Where'd my tape measure go? I'll get it to close. There's some weight there. Holy. Oh. It's the way of the skid steer. I'll move it around a bit. Probably gonna need that air compressor in a minute anyway. Got the radiator out. This thing is huge. This is the air cylinder for the travel brake if you lose air pressure. Who knows what that looks like inside. That's where it normally sits, and then this is the boom hoist brake. It's just, we got the bolts out, all the clothespins and the brake band off, but I just can't get it out. It's like rust jacked into the bore. It goes through that 3/4 inch plate. That's right here, and then the floor, which is probably another 1/4 inch plate. So I've been beating on it, trying to get some vibration down through it. I hit it with the air hammer and I'm not getting anywhere. A lot of time with the torch up there. I feel like this is going to be a lot of work. I don't know if I'll have it ready for the show or not, but I'm going to try. As long as the rad's back in, we can run. But this thing needs a lot of work. Got the radiator home, hoping I can get this back together for the show. Not sure if I'm going to be able to do that or not. I did take this little thermostat here, pressure relief type deal. So pretty much it opens up this clog port here, back over into this port, and this would be the overflow tube. So looking like pretty clogged up. Just gonna get the compressor, the blowgun over and see if we can clean that out. So I think this port I got cleared out. So that's clear. This one there, not so much. We did it. I think. That port all cleaned out, so that should work properly now. If it starts to heat up, it won't be pushing out of the cap. Managed to get all the bolts out of this top flange, except for this one. So I'm expecting the other side to be the same. I did get this one screw out with vice grips. That one we'll have to weld a nut to. So right now I gotta try to flip this up so I can get to the other side. Nope, broke that one. Ooh. Yep, broke that one too. We got the last bolt out by beating a 22mm socket on it. Oh, tank is free. So what I could get through the neck doesn't look too bad, but the rest of it, see, somebody's been in here and sealed off a couple tubes. Same thing on the end down here. So this is probably a horrible idea, but looking at this bottom flange on the core, so this is probably a horrible idea, but looking at this bottom flange on this core, I just can't not take this apart. You see all the crud packed in the end here. Like, I'm pretty much looking for trouble, it seems, by taking this all apart, but my luck, I'll put this back in and then it'll start leaking next show or something like that, so I feel like we got to do something here. So I guess these aren't coming off with the impact, so we're going to just start torching bolt heads off and then we'll have to remove them all from the tank. Oh, buddy. Well, see if we can get this flipped over. That's not really the way I wanted to go. Well, that's barely on there. I got it starting to separate now. I couldn't remove the side pieces because I torched the heads off, so they can't slip out the side like you would normally be able to unbolt it. So I'm going to pull the bottom tank off and then the side should come off. I think it's coming. Oh man, is that heavy. Probably a good thing I pulled this apart. What a mess. Whew. I don't know, probably needs a core. It's starting to rain, so I gotta get cleaned up real quick here. As you can see, this core is in pretty rough shape. Just, I hate to put this back in the machine. So I'm gonna try to wash some of this crud out of the tank. Don't look too bad now. Sandblast this whole thing and clean it up. Got the top tank and the side pieces sandblasted and a coat of primer on them. All the broken bolts I got removed. There's about, I don't know, maybe 7 of them in these 3 pieces right here. The bottom tank has all the bolts I have torched off. Slowly been getting them out. So I'll get a coat of paint on these parts, and then we can start working on the bottom tank. The show's coming up pretty soon, and I need to get this radiator back in the 604. And I didn't feel comfortable putting that old core back in with all the previous repairs it's had. And there was so much rust and stuff built up along that whole bottom flange there. I just felt like this was going to be something I was going to have to keep pulling out to fix. And I wasn't sure what I was going to do. So we reached out to Radiator Supply House. And luckily they were able to find something based on the dimensions and stuff I gave them. So this is one of their Icebox Performance cores. Now let's open this crate up and check it out. So we got some bolts and nuts. I'll have to measure and see if they'll work. We got a couple catalogs. So this is their Caterpillar cooling systems catalog. This is like oil coolers, radiators, and I think like charge air coolers. So they've got a pretty extensive list of products here. We've got also a logging catalog. Chippers, all kinds of stuff. So I guess if you need some industrial or commercial applications, reach out to them and see what they can do for you. Looks like neoprene header flange gaskets. So we got 2 of them. Let's see, what do we got here holding this together? Got a couple staples. All right. Would you look at that? It's much nicer than what I pulled out of the machine, that's for sure. I've been working on the tanks. I sandblasted these and got a little bit of primer and paint on them. I'm gonna run the tap through all these holes, make sure they're all cleaned out. I blasted the inside so we don't have any scale clogging up our new core. So once I clean all these holes out, I'm going to just run a file over the top, make sure we don't pull up any metal out of these threaded holes. And then we'll lay our gasket and our core on top of it. So I just have this set for screws, and I got the clutch set so we don't break a tap. Yeah. I didn't feel anything catching. So I trimmed up the gaskets a little bit, and I made sure the surface on the header flange was completely flat also. I think I'll just blow this out one last time. Now we can try to set this tank on here. Made 2 new hold down straps. Hopefully these fit. They're a little bit thicker, so I'm going to put these ones on the bottom. This thing's heavy. How do I want to do this? It's up there. I think we're looking pretty good. See how I did here. I gotta get some bolts. All right, so I'm gonna get this flange on the other side and a couple bolts in that, and I'll just snug them up. And then we'll work on getting the side pieces on, and then we can put the top tank. I got the gasket pretty much lined up here and I don't want anything to shift, and this thing is pretty heavy. So I put the chain fall up on the forklift, and I thought this would be the easiest way since I don't have a hoist in the shop. See if I can get a bolt started. So I'll get all these bolts in and torqued, and then I'm going to make a block off plate for the water outlets, and then we can fill it with water and check for leaks. I've been working like crazy to get this thing ready for the show. It's getting close to 9 o'clock. I got screws in up here. This is the 10 psi relief. There's a port that comes through here. It's like a thermostat, comes through and it comes out here. This is not the right fitting. I just needed something to plug this hole. This is for the overflow tube to come out. This, I just flipped this around backwards so that the gasket's blocked on one side. There's two holes here, and the gasket, the hole's over here, and this side's sealed off. So I made a block off plate down at the bottom. I torqued all these bolts. I only went to about 12 foot-pounds. So let's see how this seals up. So right now I'm gonna get the forklift fired up. I'm gonna get this out of the garage, and I'm gonna fill it up with water and see if we have any leaks. So, trying to get it installed this weekend. That way we're ready for the show. So let me get the forklift fired up and get this outside. So I got it outside. We are full of water, and the only thing I had leaking is this down there, probably my gasket. And then it was leaking a little bit up here at one of these bolts. So I just snugged that up a tiny bit, and I don't see anything else leaking. So I'm going to let this sit. I think that's from me blowing out with the air compressor there. That little bit of water. I blew it through the core from the other side. So we'll just let it sit over. I'm going to try to see if I can do something with that, I guess. I don't know. I got quite a bit on it already. That don't seem to change anything. Would you check it out? So the outside of it's done at least. Gotta do the inside. Don't mind all the junk. But I gotta do the shroud for the fan. That needs some patchwork. It's just over here looking at it. Gotta split it in half. And I gotta patch up the whole bottom and a little bit on the side. And then I don't think I'm gonna worry about patching this too much, but I'm gonna I have to put this mount back on over here and then tack this screen back on. But I mean, as far as I'm concerned, that's good enough to run for the show. So it rained all day today, but we got the radiator back installed in the 604, ran it a bit. Everything seems to be working right. I ended up noticing a track drive chain came apart while I was greasing it. Ended up having to torch the pin out to get that out. So we got a 7/8 hitch pin putting us back together. I just got to drill the other side for a cotter pin just to get us rolling again. So old buddy Sam here was giving her, and we ended up snapping the boom hoist cable. We pulled all the slack off the drum. We're going to try to get it back up in the Beckett and try to finish out the show. But I planned on changing these cables between this show and next show, and just I ran out of time. So we'll see if we can get her.
You guys remember when Frank got this machine, this fellow by the name of Jimmy's the one who gave it to him. Well, this is his first time back in the seat since, I don't know, 25 years or more at least. Oh, this is pretty cool.